The ocean depths are home to a huge group of animals with astonishing powers. Some of these boneless creatures can change color and shape at will. Like ghostly monsters, their multiple sucker-lined arms are attached directly to their heads. These are coleoid cephalopods, fast and efficient hunters made up of octopuses, cuttlefish, and squids. Distant cousins of snails, their numbers have been flourishing over the last few decades. These animals are unlike any others on Earth. To understand their population expansion, we need to enter their world. The first group has 8 arms, lined with 2 rows of suckers, 3 hearts that circulate blue blood similar to scorpions and spiders, and even multiple brains, the main one in its head and mini brains in each arm, allowing them to work independently. These are octopuses. As well as having 8 arms, the second group has an internal shell that allows them to control their flotation, and a further 2 tentacles that they can unfurl to catch prey. These chameleons of the sea can change not just their shape, but also their color, thanks to thousands of skin cells called chromatophores. These cells allow them to camouflage themselves and become invisible. These are cuttlefish. A third group of cephalopods also has 8 arms and 2 tentacles, but in addition, they have a flexible internal shell. Some have enormous eyes that can detect subtle variations in light even in the vast darkness of the deep ocean. They are squids. All of these cephalopods are well adapted to hunting, both day and night, and some are especially adept at catching hard-shelled prey like crabs. It's hard to tell who will win in a battle of soft bodies against hard shells. But once the victim has been restrained by their suckers, cephalopods have a powerful, hard beak that they use to crush the shells of crabs or other armored prey. To understand why cuttlefish, squid, and octopus populations are growing, some scientists are taking a closer look at their diets. Information about cephalopod populations comes from data collected from fishermen over the last half-century. Most cephalopods are caught out in the perpetual darkness of the deep sea, where water pressure is colossal.
I'm Bruce Robeson. I've been studying cephalopods along with my colleagues here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute for more than 30 years.
Hey, roger that. Zoom wide, please. I'm going to go ahead and head that easterly direction now.
Our understanding of these underwater aliens has been greatly improved because of our use of remotely controlled underwater vehicles.
Here, we're going to turn around and head back to the west.
In particular, we have worked on the feeding habits of one of the most caught squids in the world, the Humboldt squid. This giant can weigh up to 50 kilograms and grow to 2 meters in length in the space of just 2 years. Their success is based on hunting anything that moves. The Humboldt squid's diverse diet and voracious appetite could explain their huge growth from about 1 millimeter at birth to 1 meter a year later. Though they have always been found in the warm waters off the Mexican coast, the last 2 decades have seen Humboldt squid move further north, up as far as Alaska. The Humboldts sometimes invade the territory of another hungry relative, the black-eyed squid. Just a few centimeters long, these small squids usually live at depths between 300 and 800 meters. Usually, small squid like these are prey to large fish. But overfishing has reduced the number of predators they have to contend with. And black-eyed squid seem to relish that challenge. Black-eyed squids appear to be fearless and can attack fish much larger than themselves. Since they can eat about 30% of their body weight each day, this fish will provide food for several days before the squid seeks out its next prey. Black-eyed squid grow rapidly and reach sexual maturity in less than 2 years. The female lays more than 2,000 eggs, which she protects with a jelly-like sheet held between her arms. For the next 9 months, she will stop eating completely. She carries her eggs to a depth of more than 1,200 meters, where there are few predators. Then she releases them into the current to boost their chances of survival. When her eggs have been dispersed, her life is over at the tender age of 2. Her body will be consumed by deep-sea scavengers. Meanwhile, her offspring drift with the plankton in California's currents, where the hungry Humboldt squid roam. Only one out of 2,000 black-eyed squid will reach adulthood. by eating anything that passes within reach. Their current success is the result of a reproductive strategy that is perfectly adapted to their environment, as well as the disappearance of a large number of their predators. A reduction in the number of sharks, like this Pacific sleeper shark, has also helped other deep-sea cephalopods. Sirena octopuses have webbed arms and look as though they have fins on their heads. But they are not to be confused with vampire squid. Despite its name, the vampire squid is neither a squid nor an octopus, but something in between the two. Scientists had to create a separate order to classify this living fossil, whose ancestors lived in the oceans during the Carboniferous period, 50 million years before dinosaurs roamed the Earth. It is the only cephalopod equipped with a filament that it uses like flypaper to collect deep-sea snow. In other words, abyssal waste. It also eats occasional jellyfish. Like another deep-sea giant, the seven-arm octopus. Weighing 75 kilos and up to 3.5 meters long, it's one of the largest known octopuses. These cephalopods take advantage of an abundant source of food and less competition with other deep-sea creatures. But despite recent discoveries, we know very little about their lives, since their habitat is so vast and deep. Yet some cephalopods have shunned the depths and headed to shallower waters. In these more accessible areas, it is easier to study them. Fernando do Noronha is a volcanic island off the coast of Brazil. It's a paradise for Sally Lightfoot crabs. Every day, the crabs brave the crashing waves to feed. Though they breathe water, they spend much of their time on land. They store seawater in their gills so they can scuttle over the rocks, living in a narrow band of shoreline between low and high tides. They avoid the water at all costs in their attempt to escape the island's octopus. The crab's mortal enemy. The octopus ambushes the crabs in shallow pools as the tide recedes. The nimble crabs must dash across 100 meters of rocks and pools to get to their food source, seaweed that is exposed at low tide. The octopuses eat up to 3 times their body weight each day. For an adult, that's the equivalent of 15 crabs. At low tide, the intrepid survivors finally reach the seaweed-covered rocks and a well-deserved meal. The respite is short-lived. They have a mere half hour before the tide turns. And they have to make their way back through another marine minefield. Chain moray eels, veritable crab-killing machines. These snake-like fish have 2 rows of teeth on their upper and lower jaws to grasp and crush the crab's shells. Their powerful sense of smell allows them to detect even the faintest odors dissolved in the seawater. crabs are at the mercy of eels as the tide comes in, and octopuses as it goes out. The two predators share the same taste in food. Fernando de Noronha is a small-scale example of interspecies rivalry. Throughout the world, cephalopods and fish compete for the same prey. So if the fish are removed, the cephalopods have access to more prey in order to grow to adulthood and reproduce. Competition is also a concern for cephalopods on the sandbanks off the coast of Anilao in the Philippines. Here, several species of cephalopod thrive despite the presence of numerous predators and competitors in the form of fish, fishermen, and tourists. This featureless underwater landscape provides no protection, so the inhabitants have to come up with various strategies to survive. One species of cephalopod has evolved an eye-catching tactic to keep it safe from predators. The flamboyant cuttlefish. Its ostentatious outfit serves as a clear warning that it may be toxic. Cuttlefish are dependent on an internal shell in order to float. But the flamboyant cuttlefish's shell is so small that they are often forced to walk on the seabed. In nature, predators are wary of animals that are different from their usual prey. And flamboyant cuttlefish are highly unusual. They may be the only poisonous cuttlefish in the world, and they use 2 arms and fins to walk along the seabed. Their attention-grabbing appearance allows them to hunt without fear in the middle of the day. In general, they feed on tiny shrimp. Once again, this cephalopod is in direct competition with fish. Their main rival here is the sole. But the cuttlefish has a major advantage. It uses a chemical in order to paralyze the shrimp before eating it. This highly nutritious diet allows the cuttlefish to reach adulthood by the time it is 6 months old. Before they are a year old, the females lay between 5 and 25 eggs. With few predators and its feisty nature, the flamboyant cuttlefish is on its way to a population expansion. On the sandbanks surrounding the tropical islands of the Philippines, most of the flamboyant cuttlefish's less flashy neighbors take a more discreet route to avoid predators. Using camouflage, by burrowing, or even by dressing up. The coconut octopus is so called because it selects and uses coconut shells left behind by humans. It is the only marine invertebrate in the world known to use tools. This octopus is sizing up 2 coconut halves. It seems to be considering its choice carefully. The shell isn't much of a hiding place. But it's sufficient to ambush wandering crabs. The coconut octopus is very selective about its shelter. It must be transportable. Another coconut octopus has been unable to locate a second-hand shell and lacks a hunter's blind. It could always bury itself in the sand in order to hide, but then it wouldn't be able to move and catch its diet of crabs, fish, and other invertebrates. It is better to look for some way to hide while it is on the move. Unfortunately, at night, all the good shells have been taken. It will need to wait for daybreak. At dawn, it prepares to go out and continue its quest. But a local troublemaker has other plans. The striped pufferfish. Despite its bloated, benign appearance, this hungry fish is on the lookout for prey. Its 4 flat teeth, anchored in its strong jaws, are ideal for tearing off cephalopod limbs. As soon as its back is turned, the octopus looks for some kind of armor. These clamshells might do the trick. Given the circumstances, anything is worth a try. Well before humans began cutting coconuts in two, octopuses were using the shells from their distant cousins, shellfish. The coconut octopus's voracious appetite has forced it to become nomadic, carrying its personal effects in case of emergencies. Its appetite for food is equaled only by its eagerness to try new things. Luckily, humans have left an array of rubbish in their wake that should be recycled. This old tin can is ideal for protecting the octopus from the pufferfish's jaws. Safe for now. But this underwater fortress creates rivalry among the other octopuses. It must be defended tooth and nail, or in this case, beak and sucker. Victory. The coconut octopus retains its rusty refuge. Through trial and error, it has discovered that it provides the perfect protection. In the wild, the key to survival lies in being well armed. The octopus's victims have also come up with surprising defenses. But even though this crab has a handy symbiotic relationship with poisonous urchins, it doesn't have the cephalopod's cognitive abilities, which are comparable to some vertebrates. Cephalopods have the capacity to adapt quickly to human-induced changes in their environment. Camouflage, vision, innovation, learning, and memory are just some of the skills that these fearsome hunters use. Recently, scientists have found that one of the coconut octopus's cousins is a highly talented fraudster. To survive in the sandy lagoons of the Philippines, this cephalopod, discovered in 1998, has perfected a surprising strategy. The mimic octopus is a gifted impersonator. It carefully observes the scorpion fish, whose fins contain a powerful venom. Their easily recognizable shape, stripes, and color seem to keep predators at bay. When it leaves its den, the octopus changes both its shape and behavior to discourage predators. Like the sicklefin lemon shark. Rather than hiding in the shadows, this octopus is an exhibitionist. Its repertoire is not limited to scorpionfish. The mimic octopus spies on other animals in its environment, then uses its arms and skin to copy their color, shape, and movements. Such as a venomous sole that ripples as it swims. By gathering its arms together and flattening its body, the octopus undulates, just like the sole. A deadly sea snake winding along the seabed? Easy. The octopus buries itself, leaving just one arm free. Inedible brittle star, it just needs to bend its arms and lift them above its head. The mimic octopus can emulate about 15 animals once it has watched them closely. But its brain is probably just like any other cephalopod. 2/3 of it are taken up by lobes that deal with vision. Cephalopods have attained this form of intelligence by unusual means. Not only is their genome similar in size to humans, but most cephalopods, like this blue-ringed octopus, are able to rewrite numerous sequences, which they can then pass on to their offspring. Cephalopod brains are large and complex, with a bigger brain-to-body mass ratio than any other invertebrate, and their brains continue to grow throughout their lives. Their brains also allow them to respond quickly to changes in their environment, like the rise in temperature or the acidification of the sea. But cephalopods are not invincible and can be seriously affected by fishing. In Spencer Gulf in Australia, one species was almost completely wiped out. The Australian giant cuttlefish, the largest cuttlefish in the world, reaching sizes of up to 1/2 meter long and weighing more than 10 kilograms. During the southern winter, all the cuttlefish in the Gulf of Spencer leave the ocean's depths at the same time and swim for several weeks without eating, until they congregate along the length of a rocky promontory called Point Lowly. Nobody knows how the giant cuttlefish meet up, but they come to this underwater garden to reproduce. The males are recognizable by their shimmering colors and their large, flat arms covered in white lines. Females are smaller and less flashy, with shorter arms than the males. Along the shoreline, males outnumber females by around 10 to 1. So the females mate with several partners. While they are mating, the male transfers sperm using a modified arm in a special cavity. The female's eggs will take in the genes and can be fertilized by sperm from multiple partners. For some reason, the giant cuttlefish in Spencer Gulf don't mix with any other Australian giant cuttlefish. A large number of mating cuttlefish means the gene pool will be varied and the offspring will be healthy. They will all look physically different. On the other hand, a limited gene pool can lead to genetic defects, such as being born with only one eye. Despite this young male being partially blind, he is trying to return to the coast where he was born just 8 months before. His limited eyesight makes it difficult to negotiate the underwater world. And he has serious competition. Large, 2-year-old males with full vision lurk under the rocks. In order to fertilize a female, the young male must find and keep a close eye on an isolated couple. Like a peacock, his first reflex is to show off his physique to a female and impress his rival. Now that he's got their attention, he moves on to the second phase of his plan. The cuttlefish gathers his arms under his body, and his skin turns dull to masquerade as a female. But his rival is not fooled. So the young male lifts his arms and displays his vibrant male colors again. In cuttlefish body language, the one-eyed intruder is openly threatening the male, while at the same time seducing the female. And it seems to have worked. The older male gives up. The female is on the lookout for a new partner. The one-eyed male is just the ticket. one-eyed male's adventures give us an insight into both the fragility and resilience of coastal cephalopods. The giant cuttlefish population in Spencer Gulf was reduced to 0.5% of its previous size due to 2 decades of intensive fishing in their breeding grounds. Their genetic diversity was dramatically reduced to the point of producing deformed animals. But a decade of protecting the breeding ground at Point Lowly has allowed their population to recover. Today, cuttlefish regulate their own numbers by eating each other. Famished, after months of not eating, this male will hold on to and feed off his rival for several weeks. When the population is large enough, genetic defects gradually fade with each new generation. After 3 months, the 100 or so eggs laid by the female will hatch into baby cuttlefish that are able to hunt as soon as they are born. They will have no contact with their parents. Like many cephalopod species, the parents age rapidly after breeding. Most will die, while others will be eaten by opportunistic predators such as fur seals. Found in various oceans between Australia and the Mediterranean Sea, another cephalopod is a good illustration of complex population dynamics. The big fin reef squid. This squid seems to epitomize cephalopods' lives and physiologies. Like its cousins, the majority of its brain is concerned with vision. And it has one of the largest eye-to-body size ratios in the marine world. Like a rock star, it lives fast and dies young. All in the space of a mere 9 months. The end of its brief life is highly unusual. One early morning, having spent 8 months sleeping through the day and hunting alone at night in the depths of the ocean, a male makes its way to a coral reef to meet up with fellow squids and reproduce. During his short breeding period, he will perform an elaborate mating display that outshines the color-changing capabilities of all other cephalopods. Big fin reef squid can make themselves partially transparent in order to increase the visibility of their gonads and show they are mature. In order to communicate, male squids, with their striped mantles, can change color several times a second, another record in the animal kingdom. His aim is to attract the attention of a female that is swimming close to the coral. She is smaller and her mantle is covered in dots. A sudden flash of white communicates the male's dominance over other suitors. This male has one more trick up his sleeve. In order to avoid frightening the female, he can simultaneously show a threatening signal to a rival and a completely different reassuring signal to the object of his desire. In all, he has a repertoire of 27 colors and textures to communicate his coded messages. For example, to express domination during a confrontation, the squid spreads his arms apart and displays black dots on his fins. The self-proclaimed winner displays a darker color than the loser. When he finally has time alone with the female, the male watches the color of her mantle closely in order to be sure that she approves. If her color doesn't change, they can mate briefly. The sperm will be used to fertilize 100 or so eggs that the female places in the midst of poisonous coral. This will protect them from other males, though she will mate with other partners. In the last weeks of her life, she will transmit her genes to more than 1,000 eggs. Here, they will be out of reach of predators, such as jacks. By spawning numerous offspring in less than a year, the big fin reef squids show that they can survive small-scale fishing as long as their breeding grounds remain protected. Like this juvenile wonderpuss octopus, these youngsters will never know the parents that spawned them and died soon after breeding. But in a few months, many of them will go on to breed themselves, their main predators and rivals having been overfished for decades. Even though other predators take advantage of their abundance, today there are thought to be more cephalopods by weight than humans on the planet. Scientists have even recognized that they have a form of conscience and are sensitive to physical and perhaps even psychological pain. Their genome reveals that their intelligence has followed an unusual evolutionary path, and that it continues to develop in response to environmental changes. In the wake of every mass extinction, life on Earth has been dramatically modified.
During my lifetime, mankind has overfished the oceans and paved the way for the cephalopod era.
To the detriment of crabs that prefer them dead rather than alive.